Welcome to Pucked Up Hockey Moms, where the arenas are freezing, the group chats are unhinged, and the parenting, well, let's just say we're doing our best. I'm Amanda, hockey mom, chaos wrangler, and proud captain of the Bad Mom Squad.
And I'm Brittany, mom of three, two who play hockey, expert at juggling carpools, cold coffee, and the occasional emotional breakdown in the arena parking lot.
We're here to spill the tea on what it really means to raise hockey kids, from politics in the stands to mental health, bad calls, and everything in between. No filters, no fluff, just the truth. With a side of sarcasm.
And yeah, we're laughing through the madness, because if we didn't, we'd be crying into a damp mitt left in the trunk since last season.
So if you've ever screamed, "Move your feet," while secretly Googling the rules mid-game, you're our people.
This is Pucked Up Hockey Moms.
Let's get into it.
I'm your host, Amanda, and this week we have a mom who's from Vancouver Island, but she's traded in the rain to move to Romania, which I think is the coolest thing ever. So welcome, Jennifer.
Everybody, thank you so much for having me. This has been whirlwind.
Amazing. I love that you're in the rink now.
It's not even that cold, which is great. So it's like normally everyone's like bundled up at home, and here I am like wearing a blazer, and I'm like, oh, it's so warm. This is like a fall summer breeze.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about you and how you guys got into hockey.
So we started skating, and my husband is a former hockey player, and it actually all hockey runs in our family. So I started to learn pond hockey many years ago when it was like still cold enough to have ice in the backyard, and you could make ponds or like go to the pond and skate. And we would just like play stick and puck, and that was a fun thing. My dad had this vision that I would be like a goalie. He didn't get that vision. He got a 2-2 instead, and I was left-footed, like totally left-footed, and a horrible like ballet dancer. So that totally short-lived that. But I was like, oh my gosh, well, our son is on the ice skating. He's learning to skate. And then my husband was like, why don't we just try him? Because he's already playing in the backyard with a stick and like moving a ball around. So we started hockey when he was 4. And then when we moved to the island, he started his U7s, and he started as a player, and he kind of struggled kind of reading those pieces together, like, you know, that dynamic movement of stick and puck and on the ice. And so we worked with him, and he kept doing it. And eventually we were like at a point where like, hey, he's not actually really enjoying hockey. Like he loved hockey, he loved watching hockey, talking about hockey. He always was talking about, oh, I really want to play with my friends. And then one day, one of his coaches was like, do you like, you know, you keep standing by the net. Like, what's the thing here? He's like, it took us a while for him to actually, at 6 or 7, he finally said, well, it's because I don't want to skate. I'm like, it's not a thing. Like, you got to skate in hockey. Like, what? He's like, well, then, you know, I don't have to skate, and I can just stop the puck from going in. And the coach was like, do you want to try putting on goalie pads? And he was like, what? I can do that? And I'm like, you're cute. Yes. But, you know, Lord help me. And my dad was there when it happened, and he's like, yes, get him in goalie pads. Let's do this. I can have my dream come true. And I'm like,
Oh my God,
help me. And so the coaches put on like association pads, puts them on. And then all of a sudden, this kid comes out, and he's like walking, and he's super tiny, but like small head, big pads. And he's just like walking like one of those, remember from Ghostbusters, you know, the ghost? He was walking like that. And I'm like, this kid. Yeah. And he gets on the ice, and he just glided. And all the coaches were like, what the? Just happened? He's just skating and gliding. I still get chills and goosebumps thinking about it. But he was just went from like one end to the other, just glided. And all the coaches were like, okay, someone's got a stick or net, like pushing him along. Like, what's going on? And he just like, it was like he was one with the ice. Yeah. And so from that moment on, he was in the net for U7. He was just like there. Like, I have pictures of him. Like, he's like, okay, now I'm going to lay on the ice now. I'm like, oh God, this kid. But he was stopping pucks, and he was having fun. And like, of course, the skating, like we'd worked on it. And then we were like, hey, do you want to do goalie position? He's like, yes. And I'm like, okay, but you have to skate, right? And you kind of need to have more hockey IQ. And we were really worried about it being like a cop out almost. Like, he's young, he's 6, he's 7. He's like, I don't need to skate. I can just stop a puck. And I'm like, is this really going to be helpful for him, like in the long run? So we made a deal with him. And we said, if you do like 7 per year goalie and the second half of the year as a player, and then you do your U9 as a player, and if you still want to be a goalie at the end of it, we will fully support you. But we really just want you to do all the positions.
Yeah.
And he did it. He totally committed. He went with our deal. Him and his dad talked about it, and we all talked about it at the family table, being like, is this something you really want to do? Is it a skating thing? Is it just, what is the big driver for you?
Mhm.
And he committed through the year, but he still struggled. And we really wrestled with it because we're like, okay, now he's starting to get depressed. He's missing that position.
Yeah.
We came to a real crossroads. We had a family member, like we talked about this. We had a family member who came and watched, and it was a rough game that they were at. And he was struggling as a player, and you could just see he was not engaged. He was not passionate about it. And then all of a sudden, I wasn't there when it was said, but my husband, his dad were all the members. And it was just literally, this is so effing embarrassing. This is such a waste of money. Why are you forcing him in this position or in this sport if he's not doing good? And we were like, so my husband tells me this, and I'm just thinking, well, okay, 1, fuck you.
Yeah.
2,
Fuck you.
major fuck you. But I was like, but then we had that moment of, hey, granted, what he said was not cool whatsoever. But we kind of had that moment of, okay, so are you playing in this position because you've committed to, our deal, which was to try out all positions?
Yeah.
And if you're not having fun and you're not engaged, does this mean you either don't want to play hockey anymore, or do you want to be a goalie?
Yeah.
And he's like, no, I really want to be a goalie. And so for us, we were like, okay, fine. So we said, let's register you for goalie camps. So right away, we registered him for goalie camps, right? He did 2 of those camps, and he just, boom. It was just like the pathway opened up of him loving it, being confident, being happy, and really doing really well. And so for us, that was like, you can't ask for anything more than watching your kid happy. And it's not about being the best. I mean, that's our hope. Like, we all secretly hope that our kid is the best. Of course, that's our parents' job, right?
Yeah.
The mama bears come out.
Yeah.
Of course. But it was his happiness that was the most important thing. And when he's stopping pucks, he'll catch a puck in his glove, and then he'll hold it up like, look at me. Or he'll be like, boom, like those mic drop moments, right? And it was so cool to see. We knew right away, like, all right, we're going to throw whatever we can to support him. We ended up hiring a private coach to help even on dry land. And then we were on an amazing team where we had a great coaching staff who was really supportive. And he did his entire year, and it was his first year as a goalie, and they actually finished their year in their association in first place within that association.
That's amazing.
It was amazing to see my son. He had been really bullied the year previous to him really committing to a full-time goalie. So his confidence was already so low. And watching him on the ice, he was able to be someone we didn't see all the time.
Yeah.
But when he was on there, it was just hockey and being a goalie gave him some kind of level of support and purpose to feel good about himself.
It was like what he was meant to do, and you could visibly see that transformation. Yeah.
100%. And as a parent, you're saying, well, my kid's getting bullied at school, or he's not happy at school. The administration wasn't doing anything. And we're like, as parents, we felt helpless. He's in a sport he loves. Let's encourage him in the position he wants, even though we knew it was going to be expensive, because everyone jokes about it, but it's true.
I know. It is true. It is true.
There's always workarounds. It's kind of funny. My dad says, I still have my old goalie here from the 80s. I was like, you should shadow box it.
Not going to work.
I was like, I'll shadow box it later.
Yeah.
But I'm like, it's not going to work. But, just like those helpful things, right?
The retro pads are in.
They are. They are. So it's so true. But I was like, okay, Dad, like, I love
But
you.
that's the
Thank
cutest
you.
thing ever. Like
Right. But
having support from your family is huge. Like,
yeah,
other than the couple jerks that said, like, where you want to be like, fuck you. But those are the ones that don't understand the sport regardless.
and they don't. And you get it because you're a defense hockey mama. So
Yeah.
you totally get what
Yeah.
the goalie, you see it from a different side. Like if a goalie has a rough game,
Yeah.
usually you'll see the goalie is the first one who gets the blame, right?
Yeah.
You let all these pucks in,
Yeah.
and it's like, and then the pressure, they already feel that pressure, right? And defense feels that pressure too. So it's just like,
my defense kids take it hard if it's them, and they almost take it as hard as the goalie because
totally.
they shouldn't have let it get there, right?
Yeah.
So
Yes.
it is. And you can always see that the defense, as soon as they come on the ice, they're tapping the pads of the goalie.
Totally. Yes.
Or patting the helmet. And
Pat on the helmet.
love it because they're like, we got you. We got you. Yeah.
And it's that so amazing thing. And they're usually the first ones, bad game, a good or bad save or miss save, great save. They're like, yeah, bud, like, good job.
Yeah.
And you're like, I have this video from their very first game here in Romania. And both defenses just jump on him like dog pile. And I was like,
I love it.
My goalie.
I know. It's bittersweet, right? You're like, oh my God, that's the cutest dog pile ever. But then you're like, oh my gosh, somebody is going to not feel great underneath there. But thank goodness they have all those pads, right?
Yeah, totally. She's like, Mom, did you see the dog pile? I'm like, yeah, how do you feel? He's like, sore, great. Oh my God. But like, so right now it's funny because I'm watching the two U11 goalies and one of my son, and they're literally wrestling and rolling around on the ice with each other like they're trying to do somersaults.
That's so cute. And
goalies
are the weirdest ever, but it's also like,
I love them.
They're weird because it's also a really good way to handle the stress and to let it roll off you, because you have to have a certain type of personality be able to handle that pressure. That pressure is 10 times worse than any other pressure in any other position.
100%. And I think it's weird because a lot of parents sometimes, like, you'll get it because the stages, they transition. The players will transition off on different lines. Your goalie is there. Unless you have a backup goalie and the coach decides to pull you, which is even worse feeling. Oh,
that's awful.
Like, that's an awful feeling. But then, you're there by yourself with your own thoughts, and you have to mentally get yourself out of all of those bad feelings, taking it one step at a time. Like, it's just a total different game when you're there and you're alone and you're seeing everyone else getting that chance to transition off and on. And then, it's one of those it's a tough thing. Like, you have to, He calls himself a sheepdog, which is really cute.
Because he's like, around. That's really cute.
No, I think he sees it as like a protector. He's like, I'm a wolf and a sheepdog. And I'm like, okay. Like,
whatever's going to help that
whatever
mental game.
Help you. Yeah. That's the thing, like visualization, mindset, like preparing yourself to be on there and like, how are you going to support your team? Because it's a team game, regardless of the fact that you're alone in the net, you're still part of the team. And if you kind of build that sense up, then like you can feel that confidence. And then what's great is the players feel your confidence. Nothing worse than a player not feeling confident in their goalie because they feed off of that, right?
You can really tell when a team is confident in their goalie or not.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah,
and like,
big time. Yes,
like
big time.
we've been on different teams where my kids are like, you can tell that they have to play way more defensively or way more or they could be way more offensive because of their goalie. They're like, well, I can't leave because it's not going to work, right? Or they're like,
if I leave, I'm going to pull a Skinner.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. Or they're like, I'm not super worried about it. It's fine. I'm a Calgary fan.
Actually, my son loves Wolf so much. Yeah. And so now for his warm up in like before games, he does the Wolf jump.
Oh, nice. I love it.
Yeah. So good.
So great. Okay, so tell us how the move to Romania came up.
Okay, so my husband works actually for ferries. Don't hate.
I don't hate. I can't leave the island without them. So
Yeah, exactly. Right. And he's actually an engineer. So he's the person who makes sure the engines run. Right.
Yeah.
So as we joke, he is the one who actually, like, in those snowstorms when people are like, I can't drive. My husband is up at 3 a.m. making sure he's getting to the ferries to get the engine started. And then when they say, oh, we canceled the ferry, it's like because someone not in engineering has said, oh, I can't make it in. And he's always like, but we made it in. Like, we got to get these boats. People rely. People rely on us.
Yeah.
And so he had the opportunity to move over to help with the new builds of the vessels.
Oh, cool.
And so he actually got the first opportunity back in 2020, 2019, 2020. And he was there for all of COVID. And he was here on the deployment for all of this time, the whole time period during COVID. And he was like, you know what? I kind of want to do this again. There's another opportunity. And I said, well, okay, great. You could do that. But our kids are such, I don't know how to say it, like, dad's children, like, they love their dad so much, like, because you know he's at every practice, like I'm at every practice, he's on the ice with him, you know, we're all so really tightness, we're a hockey family that's really close. And like my son can't go like 2 days without being around his dad, and we saw how hard that was for him during COVID with his dad being gone. And so we were like, okay, let's talk about this. What does it look like logistically? And I'm on maternity leave with my daughter. We cannot for the life of us get into a daycare spot. The daycare we had lined up was closed. And the next one we were hoping to get into had a 500-person wait list. So I was like, well, there's supposed to be going back to work, right? I know, 500, right? I had
my eyes
when I
like
heard her
right now. So if anyone can't see the video, like, I'm just like, holy crap. Like, I know daycare is bad, but 500? Why?
Yeah, and I was like, sorry,
at that point.
Well, I was like, I'm sorry, I was like, did I just have a seizure or a stroke or something? Did you say 500? She was like, yeah. And I'm like, thanks for the phone call. Talk to you later. Like, or never, because
I just don't know why you bother taking a list past 50.
Why? And I was like, okay. So I looked at my husband, and my husband's like, no bueno. And I'm like, and he's like, okay, well, if you're not going back to work, because you can't, because the daycare is closed and there's this crazy wait lists, they're like, why don't we talk about moving? I said, well, hold the phone, because if we move him and there's no access to hockey where we are going, like, you know, I'm not going to put him through that. I'd rather you fly in and do a FIFO, right?
Yeah.
And so he's right away researched it. He's like, yeah, there's hockey. I'm like, okay, good. Now can he play? Like, that was the next step. Yeah. And then my son's question is, do they speak English? I'm like, maybe some, yes, maybe some, no. You're just going to have to work really hard and really fast to pick up the basics, right? And so my husband spoke with the U13 National Teams coach and was like, you know, can a Canadian come and play? They're like, absolutely. Like, bring them all. Bring the Canadians. Bring them all to us. Canadian hockey. Let's go. Yeah. You know, because I love it, right? Like I talk to people and they're like, there's hockey here. Like, and I'm going back and forth and I'm trying different like cafes because I need coffee. And this one guy's like, you're not from Romania. And I'm like, no, I'm not. And he's like, what are you doing here? I'm like, my husband's working here. Okay, what brings you to this cafe? And I'm like, I need coffee to go to the ice rink to watch my son play hockey. And he's like, there's hockey? It's such a Canadian thing. Oh my God. And I'm like thinking, what?
That is why I'm here right now.
And I'm like, yeah, my son plays hockey. And they're like, that's how we learn about Canada, is cartoons and hockey and maple syrup. And I'm just thinking, do you play hockey? And he was like, no, but I want to watch a game. And I was like, okay, well, you know, next time we have a game, I'll send you I'll let your cafe manager know you can come watch him play hockey. He's like, really? And I'm like, oh, wow, you really love your hockey. He's like, great.
Yeah.
But so we ended up finding out that it is a small niche community here.
Yeah.
But holy shit, the parents are passionate.
Really?
And dedicated. Okay, that's a story in a second. So when we got here my son started training with them on dry land because they pull their ice out for handball here. So he started training with the U13 and U15 national teams just in dry land. And they train 7 days a week.
Wow.
in a stadium running. They do running, agility, different. They play soccer as a team building exercise, but they do a lot of dynamic workouts and you don't pay at all. It's
Wow.
free.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So we're like, okay. And we were watching him and they're like, okay, like, of course, in Canada, dry land is to each coach's kind of decision, depending on what team, or if you're in rep or house, or if you're in JPHL or something like that. So
Yes.
it's super dependent on the coaches, right?
Yeah.
And so watching him do dry land, I'm thinking, oh my God, he's going to be the slowest kid. And he came up to me and he's like, I'm the slowest kid. I'm like, you know what? Good. Be the slowest kid, find your pace, don't stop, keep going. He's like, well, what if they make fun of me? I'm like, then let them. You can't understand them anyway. He's like, until you
good word.
this is how you're gonna learn. And he didn't want to go the second week. He was like, I just want to skip it. I'm like, you know what? If you skip it, then why are we here?
Mm-hmm.
Like, why did we come to Romania for you to try it and play hockey at this level?
Mm-hmm.
If you are wanting to give up? Because as a goalie, you can't give up. You need to keep building that grit and that perseverance, even when it's difficult and hard. So every day he showed up, every day he tried and just, got better and got better. Then we went to Italy and he trained for 5 days straight on the ice for 3 hours. So broken up, and they did dry land. And we watched how that build up training transitioned into his goalie training over there. But what was really interesting is they didn't actually have the U11s doing dry land training in the summertime. And during the August dry land training, he was still keeping up to pace with all of the national U15 kids because he'd been training with them all summer.
Yeah.
And so watching him, some the U11 parents were like looking at me, that's your son? Yeah. He's like laughing the other kids. And I was like, he's been training with the national team all summer. And it was amazing to see him do that. But then we kind of hit one of those road snaps of bureaucracy here.
Yeah.
Because even though he is under a Romanian permanency card, he gets a permanency card, we all do, for 5 years to be here, just to follow the due process. It's okay. So you have to follow a certain order of things to be on these teams, which requires them to do a medical, blood tests, urine, the whole 9 yards. They're looking to make sure the doctors
Not
all have to
doping.
sign off on the kids. Well, not doping, but it's also, so there's a liability thing here. So the coaches here are all paid. So your coach, it's not a parent. Well, I mean, there is a kid on the team, but the coach that is on each team, they're paid by the association.
Mm-hmm.
And so right now, because of what's happening within the Ukraine, they have a partnership with Romania where the kids can play at that level. But because our son is the only Canadian, they can't make that agreement. So he can train and be an e-bug at the national level, and at U11 AAA level, he can go to all of their international tournaments with that team.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and he plays, actually, it was crazy. The last week tournament in Bucharest, he played for 8 hours all day, broken up. He had 4 straight hours on the ice because he had a different Bucharest national team watching him because they were all competing against one another for a tournament for that weekend. And so he was allowed to play. And the coach was like, our goalie got injured in the very first game. We have no goalie. So do you mind if we just steal your kid? So he ended up playing for 2 teams that whole day. And it was amazing. So at the national level, how it happens here is U13, U15, U17, and U20. All of the clubs in Romania will fight for the national championship. And it gives a certain notoriety and it helps with like funding. And it's like a really big thing here.
Yeah.
So U13s, that's where they start at. So they get subbed up. And if they go on tournaments, then he gets to go as their backup. So he trains with them. And right now, like, he's on the ice. And what they do is they actually train 7 days a week. So if they're not doing 2.5 hours of ice time, they're doing 1 hour of ice time and 1 hour of dry line training. So it's intense, but what's even more crazy, and I think a lot of parents would cry if they heard this, they only pay $55 a month.
Oh my God. That is crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so what happens here is you pay your monthly fee and everything is based on sponsorships. So we get sponsorships and they cover tournaments, they cover uniforms, training uniforms, travel gear.
Yeah.
And then if you are going to the tournament, you pay for yourself, which is pretty standard in Canada. Like if we weren't fundraising, we would be, looking for sponsorships or hoping to get sponsorships.
Yeah.
We're paying ourselves. So he's been here on the AAA, which was crazy because we didn't actually encourage him to go this route. We just said, "Oh, have fun, play house, have fun until you're like, 12, 13, right?" But here he is, playing with the national teams for our region, and it's pretty intense watching them.
Yeah.
Their coaches run a very strict style of coaching.
That's awesome.
So if you don't pay attention, you're off the ice.
I love it.
Literally. Yeah.
I like it that way personally because I just I like the discipline, and I find there's more respect and there's less bullying. Some kids don't thrive in that, but more dedicated, competitive kids do.
Yeah.
So personally, I really enjoy that. I like seeing.
Well, and it's so weird because we talk about like respect in sport. You remember those things. Like we talk about respect in sport, the 24-hour rule, all of those things that we have to sign for our kids to be on the ice. But then we still see silly stuff happening or stuff comes up in the news. And you're like, how is this happening?
Yeah.
Like, where is the failure or the miss? Like, is it because are we missing a discipline aspect? Are we missing a respect aspect? Like, what is lost? So what's been really interesting.
I think it's a breakdown in communication. Like, I think it's a breakdown in communication or like a lack of communication because that's usually when you have problems. Like, same with in a work environment and stuff. When there is not a clear, concise, this is what our expectations are, this is what we'll accept, and this is what you're going to see throughout the year. Then you have parents questioning things. Then they're talking to each other. And then those parents are talking to other parents. Then they're asking their kids. Then the kids are talking to each other. And it becomes a vicious circle. So I feel like so much more could be done from the top down that could alleviate that stuff. But it's almost like they're like, no, we have to hide what we're doing, or I'm in control of it. I don't have to explain it to anyone. And that's fine. You are in control. You're a coach or the president of association, whatever. But you could stop so much if you just laid things out simply. Like, and people say transparency or whatever, but it's true because you can't question something you can see, right? Like,
absolutely.
So that's just my opinion.
Totally agree with you there. No, I 100% agree with you. Like, if parents are seeing things and then you go to a coach or you go to a board member and you're like, we're seeing this stuff. And then they either gaslight you or say that's totally not your interpretation. And you're like, then why is it that you just allowed everyone to go and create this weird vicious cycle where everyone's now all of a sudden kind of talking about things, but then now this person said this and that person said that. Like, that's how you actually breed toxic hockey associations. And that's usually why then when people leave hockey associations, because rather than communicating, being transparent and just being like, hey, this is our expectations. Like here, the coach had a parent meeting. He laid out all of his expectations for the parents. And he was like, if you don't like it, see you later, go somewhere else.
Yep.
And it was like, and that's fair. That's not mean. That's not being an asshole. That's just like, if you're not going to put up, like if you're not going to participate, then you're going to be a problem. And if you're going to be a problem, you're going to create a problem on the ice with your kid. And then that just becomes a huge problem to build team camaraderie. So our coach was phenomenal. He laid it out, parent expectations, what he expects of the children, and how he wants to build them up as a team. And I think you are so bang on there when you say communication is key, because if you're trying to put your head under the sand or under the rug or dust it under, so much is lost. Yeah. And then like, even we have, every parent, we all know those one parents who love to like coach from the sidelines, but don't go on the ice. We all know those ones. And we love them because they are so passionate and they want to be supportive of their kid. But our coach, if he hears that, he calls it out right away. And he's putting it in the group chat. If you're not on the ice, don't come talk to your kid while the practice is on. Talk to them afterwards if you want to, but we're not doing this. Like, that's enough, right? And he's always constantly posting like hockey IQ. This is how we support your child. Like, and it's funny because he also makes them eat food after practice. He'll make them have walnuts and apples. Like, he is one of those coaches who's looking at the whole child. And like, I know not all of them are getting apples or fruit or vegetables. So I'm going to give them stuff that's super healthy. And we're working as a team. And as you were talking about kind of like bad attitudes or lack of communication, watching one of the newer goalies, he's a jerkwad to my son. He actually 2 days ago used his goalie stick and hit our goalie across the head with it.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. And I wasn't here for it. So coach was, apparently the kid came in crying and apologized. And it should be done. Like, our goalie held his own. Like, it was weird. It's like, I want to come to all my practices. And a lot of people say, oh, parents shouldn't go to practices because X, Y, and Z. And I think parents should go to practices, but parents should not be coaching their kids from the sidelines. Let the coach coach. That's their job, right?
Yeah.
But if something happens to my kid on the ice and I have a question about it, or like an injury happens and I'm not there and they're trying to figure out how the heck to get a hold of me, I think it's our responsibility as parents to be there. The one day I missed practice and that all happens. And I'm like, you know what? Maybe it was a good thing I wasn't there, because I totally would have not, even though there's no such thing as a 24-hour rule here, I would have been on that ice, like pulling that goalie off the ice, being like, let's have a little talk.
Yeah.
Don't ever use your stick on my kid's head ever again, please.
Yeah.
But as I was thinking about it, and I was like talking with my husband, I just did this.
You just
7. I was trying to weigh the options, and I was like, you know what? Maybe it was good because my son told me what happened, and I could talk with him and say, you know what? How did you handle that situation? Rather than me jumping in, which I would have probably done.
Yeah.
And what did you do? And he was like, oh, I went to the coach. Okay. What did you say? He's like, the kid hit me with a stick in the head. Good for you, bud. Like, self-advocating, right? And when he felt like that coach maybe didn't fully understand him because he doesn't speak as much English, he went to 2 other coaches. And so he made sure all of the coaches knew what happened. And one of the parents last night was like, hey, so just so you know, this happened. We saw this. And I'm like, you know what? Thanks so much. And I was like, was it resolved? Like, what happened? Do I need to speak with someone, or what's the scoop? Right. And she's like, I dealt with it. And I'm like, thank God for you. Like, bless your heart. Like, I'm glad that there's someone who's like, because they don't take shit here. Like, I love it. If they see something that is like, they're like, you did bad. Like, you need to sort your behavior out. And it's like, no, it's not gonna fester. You're not, the parents and the child are not going to go home. And then there's not going to all of a sudden be this like drama where other moms are texting with that mom about creating that drama piece, right? They're like, it's dealt with. Shut it down. Your kid and your kid, they need to chat and solve their problems and shake a hand and move on. And it's done. And it's done. Literally in that one moment. And I swear, here, there is no parent drama. Like, it's just...
Yeah, well, when you handle
let's
it
work.
right
Let's
away,
talk about that.
Then there's nothing to fester, right? And that, I think, is the problem, is because people want to know what's going on. So then they're talking to someone else, and that becomes the triangulation piece, because you don't know what's going on, and people just want to know how it's being handled. And,
totally.
And a lot of people are like, okay, well, it's none of your business how it's handled. Okay, I get that. But if people are understanding, like, hey, this happened at practice, we dealt with it, it's over, right?
Yeah.
Like, even just a simple line like that, like, this is behavior we don't accept. So if your kid thinks that they're going to do it too, we're not going to accept that, then boom, it's done, right? And if you set it up at the beginning of the season and then they follow through when it does happen, you can't actually be mad at it, right? Like, the parent kid might be a little mad, but it'd be like, do you remember that meeting we had? Do you remember how you all agreed at that? Well, now we're instituting it because it happened. you all agreed to
And
it.
it's good.
Yeah.
And the kids see it. So they see
Yeah.
the firm understanding of what their expectation is. And then they'll follow through. Like, it's not to be mean. It's literally like that's called boundary, and it's healthy boundary. Like yesterday we watched a kid who was goofing off and who thought, well, I go to the U13 level, so I sub up all the time. I won't, it won't impact me. Coach was like, get off the ice, put your stick back, and you're going to come back on and just do lines. And he skated lines the remainder of the practice. And all the other kids were like, okay, we won't do that anymore. And in today's practice, it's like flowing perfectly. Like none of the kids are goofing off. I'm just like,
perfect.
This is nice.
Well, it's
so
parenting,
it's
right?
a different.
If you tell your kid you're going to take something away, but you don't take it away, they don't believe you, right? So if you don't follow through, then there's no actual consequence, and they're not going to respect you or believe you or know that boundary exists, right? And kids will always push the boundary until they find it. And then they'll back up. They'll sleep to it again, but then they'll back up. That's just part of growing up.
I know. And it's good though, because I think we can both maybe agree some kids maybe don't have that learning stage. And if they don't have it at home and to get it on the ice, at least they in their mind will learn it as they get older, and they can kind of sometimes drop back to that memory of, oh, I remember when this coach did this for me, and I know what the result was if I did it that way. But if I experience it on this way and it's different, as they get older, they can kind of figure out which one is the right response, right?
Yeah,
so it's kind of, there's such a foundational thing to be a part of a team where you're learning these kind of life skills that sometimes we can't always, not all children are afforded that opportunity.
No.
So,
is gear provided there too? Because you said how cheap hockey is, but do they
No, well, actually, you know what? Our coach is, I swear, he is one of the most dedicated coaches I've met very dedicated coaches, but this coach has been in hockey all his life, and he will provide skates and other gear. We do gear swaps on occasion, and he will do his best. Like, so our goalie will actually have to grow. He's growing out of his gear. So what we'll do is we'll swap down to the goalie who's in U9. He'll get our goalie's gear. So they do work to do some of that. But if we can't do those kinds of pieces and there's no swapping or the coach isn't able to source items, we actually will drive 5.5 hours to Gorkeni County, which is a little up north, to the Bauer hockey there. And we can then, they have a Connects, like a machine where you can kind of size up your feet and see where you're at and get gear. But the one thing that has been really helpful for me is I have 2 really good goalie coaches in Belgium that I go to, and they will send me links and help source me stuff. Because if it's not Bauer, if it's like, because our goalie kind of is not one brand fits all. He's kind of has a combination of like CCM and Warrior and all of the brands, right? Just because he's all about the fit. And so Rolf at Crease, the fit is like, people always say, I have a couple of like goalie moms who are like, is it the brand that's the most important thing, or is it the fit? I'm like, fit and safety, number one overall, are always going to be the most important things. But with that, because we have to source things sometimes from Germany or Belgium, or if we can get it from Romania, it can be a little bit more expensive for us. So usually my friend Rolf, who runs Crease Academy in Belgium, he will send us stuff or help us find like discounted pricing of like, where do you go to dry or clean out your goalie gear? Because the rocket dryer that I brought from Canada, I messaged them to be like, can we use your rocket dryer here? And they're like, do not use it if you don't want to see a fire in your house. I'm like, okay, it's gone. I will not be using that. They're like, do not use it. Do not use it. I'm like, are you sure? We have a converter. He's like, no, you'll have a fire. I was like, damn it. Like, here I was thinking I would be able to save money or something. But so, Rolf was like, oh, here, if you get it from Sweden. I'm like, God. So getting stuff, unless it's Bauer, is a little bit harder. But, having people you can go to be like, hey, how do I get this to here? And hope to God it's on sale, or find a smaller version.
Yeah.
So sourcing can be a bit of a pain in the butt, but we're so far so good that our goalie hasn't had one of those crazy growth spurts where it's like his shoulder pads don't fit or his pads don't fit. Like it's just like crossing our fingers. We've only had to get it's just so far skates. That's been the only thing. And so
That's
yeah,
doable.
so we're just like, come on, just get us to Christmas while we're in Germany visiting my husband's family. And then we can look for stuff. But it's just like, oh God, help me. But yeah, so sourcing gear is pretty hard. And so because of that, the community here is so amazing. Like our coach does a lot, but the parents work really well together to find gear or help each other out and pass things down and kind of compare sizing or figure out, all right, do you have something that can fix this? So for me, I'll stitch things that I can stitch. If it's stitchable, I'll take kids' stuff home and I'll stitch it. And, we all take turns and all that kind of stuff. So the parent community here is phenomenal in terms of like, how do we support the kids? Because where we are, we know it's hard to get stuff here.
Yeah. How long have you been there now?
We have been here. Well, we've been in Europe now 7 months.
Okay.
So,
and how long are you staying?
So only 1.5 more years. I'm not counting down. I love it here, actually. It's so different here. I'm not like everyone. I remember when I said I'm coming here, and they're like, oh, like, are you sure? Like, it's so different. And I'm like, I love it here. People are so kind. Like, they have this weird obsession with little children. Like, the old people love them. They pat them on their heads, and they're like, oh, cute.
Yeah.
Everyone's shaking hands with one another every time they come in they come into the rink, they see their coach, they see one of the dads, they're giving a handshake. Leaving practice, they're giving handshakes. All the dads are handshaking with one another. And I'm like, I love this. Like, it's a cool vibe. Like, everyone, says hello. They make eye contact with you. Sometimes I remember we'd be walking into a rink and everyone's like, heads down, like,
down.
I don't see that person.
Talk to no one.
I don't see you. Hello.
Going to my corner.
Right? I'm like usually in my corner. And then I'll be in my corner and then someone comes up to me, you shouldn't stand alone. And I'm like, but I like to.
You're like, but I'm a goalie mom. Like, that's what
they don't. And then, and it's just so cute because, if Rye has a bad save or like our goalie has a good save or, all the parents are like, yeah. And they're all cheering. Like everyone's always cheering for everyone. It's never just one kid. It's everybody, which I think is really cool because then the kids see that. Yeah.
Yeah. That's my vibe. I like to cheer for everyone just because, like, my kid's not on the ice 100% of the time. So what's the point of only cheering for one player? Like,
no, you got to cheer. I cheer for all the goalies.
Yeah, I know. And like, what if is everyone waving at you now?
Yeah.
That's so
One of the goalies is like, hi, I see you. I'm like, hi. Yeah. So, hello. And he's waving at me and he's like, yeah, it's cute. But,
so funny.
Yeah, I cheer for all the goalies. I'm that goalie mom that's like awkwardly like, oh, you could save. And it's like the opposite team. And I'm like, I know we're playing you, but
it's good to appreciate a good save. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's true.
How far do you have to travel for games?
So our next game is in Poland.
Oh, wow.
So driving is 17 hours.
Man.
So yeah. So we have our U5.
When you're on the ice 7 hours in the week.
I know. So how they structure games here, it's actually different. So they don't take the entire team. The coach will select a certain number of kids on the team, and those will be the kids that go. And they all take turns, but they only have 2 U11 goalies.
Oh, okay.
So for his second year U11. So what happens is if they know that the U11 goalie is going to be subbed up to the U13 national team, and because of rankings, if it's not a tournament, but it's an actual ranking for the national championship, then that goalie, because he's officially born Romanian and Romanian citizen, he can go up and sub up. So the only goalie that can then go to all the other tournaments is our goalie. So they've worked it out that if the Romanian-born goalie is going to sub up to U13 to help with the national game for the rankings, then our goalie is the one going to all these other tournaments. And then, so that's how they've structured things right now.
Yeah.
So our goalie has the Poland tournament coming up. And so what they do is those kids are excused from practices. And then the parents, we all drive. Well, we're flying. I'm not driving with a 2-year or three, almost two, over 2-year-old. I'm not driving 16 hours in a car with her. Love her, but no, I'm not doing it. I like my sanity a little bit. So we're going to fly and they're going to drive.
Yeah.
So
Crazy.
it's far. But
And how
within
many
Romania, the furthest. So here's an interesting thing about Romania. So they focus more on practices and then they focus on quality tournaments and national games. So if they have a game, it's for national championships. So we're not doing games every Wednesday or every Saturday or Sunday. Here it's really focused on practices, dynamic practices, skill technique, team building, then tournaments. So we've already had 2. One was in Merkala, which is up north, and then the other one was in central Bucharest. So, and then the next tournament for our goalie will be in Poland, December 5th.
Okay.
So, yeah. So what they do during those times is, this is why they have so many practices and why they have them for so long, is to keep their skills fresh. And then they do scrimmages in between.
Okay. Yeah. That's amazing. What's it been like for you
fun.
what's it been like for you trying to find like a hockey mom tribe over there? Like you talked about sourcing, helping with gear and stuff, but do you have like a mom crew over there yet? Or are you still trying to work your way in?
It's weird. I actually am I'm the only mom here tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's fair.
I'm the only mom here tonight. It's all the dads. I have like a couple of moms that we all like chat together when they are here. But you know, if they're here at night, like so tonight's practice runs from 6 until 8:45. And so what really happens is they also have other kids, right? So if they have one of our other moms has 5 other kids. So she's juggling like 5 other practices. So I have my like core moms, but also because English is not as widely spoken here. So usually we kind of go between like English, Ranglish, and then Franglish, which is a combination of Romanian English and French and English. And then my husband gets Janglish because then some of the parents will speak German and English. So we kind of all have like our own little language of things. So I have like a two-person mom tribe, I guess you could call it. But the one mom that I'm really close with, she's been the one who has been actually a huge rock for us to understand how play is done here, because play and how they handle things is so different here. So if she sees something happening that our goalie says, shit, like, what do I do in this situation? And she will talk to her and she'll be like, don't let that kid push you around. Be assertive. Like, don't just because you're smaller, don't let him push you around. So she's been really good at being like, this is what you do. This is how you respond. So she has been like an amazing mom, like my mom bestie over here, right? And her son's a defense, so it's great. So she totally understands it.
Yeah.
And she was the mom who saw like what happened with our goalie when the sticks incident happened. She was the one that made sure like everything was dealt with when I was in here. And you know, so she's been really awesome at looking out for us and very welcoming even to our youngest. Like all the parents here are so like they love our youngest. They love babies and toddlers. It's a theme here.
That's
But
great.
so I bought like my small mom tribe, and then I'll talk with the other moms when they are here, and we all kind of stand together and have coffees usually. But they come and go. Like I'm usually the only mom that's dedicated to sit for an entire over 2-hour practice. The other ones are grocery shopping, having a coffee, you know. So they're doing the things, and I'm just over here like, I will do laundry eventually. It will get done eventually.
So funny. Yeah.
I'll do it later at night. Yeah. I do it at like midnight. Yeah. So it's been good. I think what's been so cool is just seeing though, like in the beginning, how worried he seemed. And then after, showing up every day, it's been so cool to watch his confidence, how resilient he's becoming over things and the growth. And he's actually picking up the Romanian way faster, which is so good because he's on the ice with them. He's immersed in it more regularly than I am.
Yeah.
So he's really just thriving. And it's so, I'm a proud mama. Like, I'm a proud mama. So
how's school doing for him? Like, how's school doing?
Well, I homeschool him.
Okay. So you're homeschooling in English?
Yeah. So when we found out we were going to do this move, we started homeschooling him last year and doing it with a baby also. And he is homeschooling this year. And then we were hoping that he was going to be allowed into a Romanian school. And it seems like it was going to go in that way, but it goes back again to the kind of the bureaucracy of the Romanian system because of there's no agreements where the Canadian kids can join school. He could go to a private school.
Yeah.
But because it's all done in Romanian, so they do the Romanian morning school system and then they do a British system in the afternoon. I was like, it's totally different and their curriculum is different. And it was just like, it didn't make sense to overwhelm him. It was just like, he's getting acclimatized to a new country, totally different cultural, societal, everything is so different here. And we're like, if there's two consistent themes we can give him, it's homeschooling and it's his hockey.
Yeah.
So he's been doing it now for a year and a half, and he's actually doing really well in it. I miss working, but I'm actually happy to not be working at the same time. So it's like a contradictory statement. I'm like,
it's nice to have the interaction.
Love-hate relationship. Yes. I miss the adult time. So I'm just like, when I'm in Instagram or I'm talking with another adult, I'm like, oh, let's talk. I'm like one of those kids like pulling at their dad's shirt, like, talk to me.
I know.
But,
Since I've been off work too, I'm definitely like, I love talking to strangers, so that always works for me. But like, I'm essentially on my back 95% of my day, right? So I'm like, oh, I can talk to people.
That's so hard.
Great. Yeah. So it's just nice to like talk to people and not just children or watch TV. So I totally get it.
Yeah. It's been a challenge for me a little bit, but like, cause it's, as our coach says it, you're in a new country, new rules. I'm like, yes, sir. Like, and you just have to like, you know what, just suck it up, adapt, and just, if you want to have an easy life, the path of least resistance is get accustomed to the new rules and just go with it. Because if you fight it or like complain, like, I mean, the experience would suck if I just sat here and complained all the time. So I'm trying to practice my Romanian, right?
Yeah, embrace it.
My son's way better at it. And you gotta embrace it because like, it's funny, actually, I'm the only wife that has lasted this long here in Romania. So I'm just like, surprise. Yeah. So
everyone else goes home.
Maybe because I look at it with someone compared it to like the Fort Mac of beef. Like they compare it to Fort Mac and I'm looking around and I'm like, they have a Starbucks, they have an H&M, they have, you know what? They have a movie theater. Like, how is this Fort Mac? Like, I don't get it. Like,
Fort McMurray. I know my husband worked in Fort McMurray for a couple of years, so I'd been up there too. And not trying to hate on it or anything.
You can't compare. No hate, not at all. Like, love it. But everyone says, because it's what they compare it, I guess, is like a remote area, but we're not really remote. Like, I think it's all relative. And
I think it's
if remote also means smaller community.
Yeah, I think it's just because more people don't think of Romania and think of hockey and think along the lines of how busy it is, or like, you know what I mean? Like they just don't see it as like a busier place because it's not something you hear about all the time. So
no, and I think it's really underspoken. Everyone always talks about like Finland or Germany as having hockey, and those are like the key places. But like when you think about it, like there's Slovakia, Lithuania, they have hockey. Italy has hockey. Romania has hockey. It looks different. The play is different. Like the game styles are completely different here. Like at the U11 level, they're actually only still playing half ice. Whereas by now in Canada, they'd be playing full ice. But what's crazy is they don't actually stop the clock. So if you get a goal, it's like a U9 play style. Like they keep going. There's
Yeah.
no calls for offside. There's no calls for unless it's a major penalty, like a severe cross check or boarding, like something that's really egregious. They're like, yeah, you're fine. You fell, whatever. Like you got a little love tap,
Right.
keep going,
Yeah.
right? So their play is just continuous. And it's actually the most time efficient system I've ever found because, we book tournaments and we have to go for a whole weekend. Whereas if it's like 3.5 hours away, we can literally drive there in the morning, play our games, and then go home. And that's
Yeah.
great. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Efficient
your
time
day is done.
is great. Because, yeah, like I was talking to a friend the other day and we're talking about how long it takes. Actually, it was the last episode. We're talking about like when you're traveling, you're like, oh, it's 2 hours before, and then there's the game, and then there's like waiting for them to do the cool down. And you're like, how did this turn into a 6 hour process? Like, it's ridiculous.
The
So,
hockey mom math. It is hockey
yeah.
mom math. It is totally the
Yeah.
case.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just like my entire weekend has been dedicated to one tournament for one whole day. Whereas here, it's just like, oh, go, boom, done. See you later. And we're like, okay, cool. That was nice. And you just rush back.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's different style play, but it makes life easier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you looking forward to seeing when you come back to Canada how he looks development wise on the ice for like his
Well, I don't know if we're
level?
coming back to Canada.
You're like,
No, I
what
don't
is
know if we're coming back to Canada.
Yeah, that's
Well,
fair.
man, okay, seriously, it's so cheap here. Like, it's a weird thing. My husband, like, we don't know, like, our kids and my husband have German citizenship.
Okay.
We could go to Germany if we wanted to. We have no idea. We're kind of now that we're here, and it's like, it's kind of one of those things up in the air where we're like, we have no idea if we're coming back, like, because
Yeah.
it's just a different pace of life.
Yeah.
And right now, we're just kind of absorbing and enjoying this year year and a half while we're here, and then
Yeah.
kind of see what happens. Like if we go back to Canada, great.
Cool.
But if we stay
Yeah.
here, I have no idea. I'm like kind of flying at the seat of my pants. I'm like my little minor OCD like A planner style is like learning to like go with the flow because I'm like
Yeah.
normally I'd be like, okay, well he has to worry about this school and that course and like
Yeah.
where is he gonna go to high school and what about all the things that parents think about. And now I'm like, "Yeah, let's just get through this day and see
Yeah.
how we go." So
Yeah.
just
It's such an
it's
incredible
one of those
experience for him.
years.
Yeah.
I think like it's one of those things that like I know he's gonna remember the rest of his life. And it's
Mhm.
funny because my husband and I joke, well, he has seen more of Europe than we did. And
Mhm.
we're like in our late 30s. And I'm just
Yeah.
thinking he's 10 and he's seen all these places
Yeah.
by playing hockey. And, what an adventure for him that he can like, carry with him the friendships he's made, even when we played in Italy, because the goalie niche community is so small. They all bonded really well. So all of the goalies that in the U17, U11, U15 and U13 and U11, a bunch of them all got along so well that they actually said, "What camps are you going to this coming
Yeah.
2026 July?" And Vanessa, say hello. I'm in an interview. Okay, bye-bye. So a bunch of them all got together and were like, you know what, can we all time going at the same time? So now there's a literal reunion that's going to be happening. They're all going to go back and be in the same camps together. And all the
Yeah.
parents were all like, so if we all leave them at a hotel together, we can go drinking, right? Like we can go party. The 17-year-old goalie can watch the U11 goalie babysit.
Amazing.
We got a babysitter built in.
Yeah. Love it.
But they've all kind of built that whole idea of like, yeah, we're all going to go together. We're going to train together. and kind of keep those connections going. And that, like, I just love that so much because now you were like, oh, how's your goalie doing here? And how's your goalie doing there? Well, this one goalie's now playing U17 and he got called up to U23. Like, amazing. Like, he just is like, our goalie was like clapping for him. And I'm just like, oh my God, I'm so proud. I feel like a proud mama. And he's not even my kid. It's like, you're just so happy for their successes because they're, I literally just adopted a bunch of other kids. Like, come, you're with me, you're with me, you're with me. And like, you're on the ice, I'm going to cheer for you. Yeah. So
that's great.
It's funny. But it's a good community and he's been really lucky. Mm-hmm. I'm really grateful for this time. I think you will probably understand it because your oldest is also billeting in the States. So that's a once in a lifetime opportunity for him, right? And he's going to get so much different experience.
I know.
Even though it's hard, right? For you.
Yeah. Pardon me?
And you're like, you're so happy. You're so happy, but you probably miss him so much. But at the same time, it's like, you can't replace those experiences because it's like, it opens so many different doors that we wouldn't have had, so.
Yeah. I always say, like, when he first went last year, I kept thinking that I was going to be so sad. And I was sad, but he was having so much fun that I couldn't be sad.
Yeah.
Like, I felt guilty being sad because how are you sad when your child is happy, right? Like, unfortunately, as parents, we live through our children's happiness, right? You just want them to be happy.
True. It's so true.
He's happy, so I can't be miserable. Like, it's just impossible to be miserable when your children are happy. So,
you can't. And it's like, I mean, you can allow the space for yourself to be like, you can recognize and be like, you know what, I understand I'm missing these moments, but it's moments that I can't replace for him because if I try to, it's totally going to take away from what he's living. And we can't, as parents, stop our children from having those opportunities either because that's just not fair, right? So it's like that selfish, like paradoxical moments as a parent, like, trusting that, they're going to have a great time and you're sad, but at the same time, it's an opportunity every parent wants for their kid, right?
Exactly. I don't want to be selfish.
I feel you.
Like, I feel I would be selfish to keep him home.
Yeah.
So it's, letting them have those experiences because that's what they want to do. And even if it takes them nowhere in life, like, it's going to take them somewhere as a person. Like, it's going to develop them as a person, but it's not where, like, even if it just ends up as an engineer or an architect or whatever, like, not a professional hockey player, right? They're still developing as a person, and that's the experiences they have are going to be priceless.
Yes.
So,
yeah. And I mean, like, we all have those big dreams. Like, all of our kids, I think, like, it would be wrong of me to say that not all of our kids or some of our kids want to move into maybe, trying to achieve going to the NCAA or play WHL or even the NHL, right? Let's be real. Some of these kids who are playing on the ice right now do. And I so support their dreams. And if they make it, that is so amazing. But you're so right. Like, we can't deny that they're also, even though they have those dreams, if they make it to even just using their hockey skills as an opportunity to go to university, like, that's amazing,
huge.
right? And it's huge. So I think it's whether they make it or not, they will always have the memories, right? And you're so right because this is like the time for them to build those core memories so that they have a future for themselves.
Yeah. And I really think that unless you have put your child in a sport, like a competitive sport, you just don't understand that, right? Like, and you can try and understand it, and it's cool. And I appreciate it when parents do try and understand it. But like, you're really just wanting them to have such a great experience, make them a better person. And it doesn't matter where they end up, right? You can have all these hopes and dreams for them,
100%.
sure, because you're supporting what they want to do. And you get excited along the way and maybe get wrapped up in a dream, but it doesn't mean that that's going to happen, but you're just supporting them, right? And then they have all these experiences along the way that are just priceless.
Exactly.
You can't do it for them, and it's just, I don't know, it's great. I think it's amazing that you guys had an opportunity.
And if we did it for them, then what is it?
They won't
Like,
appreciate it.
I was so weird. I was like driving. Well, I was driving back and I'm like, I had one of those moments. I don't know if you've ever had them where it's like, is this my life right now? Like, did I wake up from a coma or something where I'm just like, holy shit, we're here, right? You know, watching him on the ice like right now and just, yeah, I feel so lucky. Like, I feel so happy and like privileged for him. And like, it's just kind of like that, holy, like he's doing it, right?
Yeah, just to be
And
part of his
yeah,
journey, right? Like, just to be part of that journey and watching it
yeah,
is actually pretty special. So,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, and it's also like, because he's butting into this goalie it's not even just about the goalie position. It's like, you know, those accountability pieces or those standing up for himself or those executive functioning skills or, you know, okay, I need to go to bed at a certain time because if I
Yeah.
don't go to bed, I'm not going to be my best, you know, or I need to eat healthy because of X, Y, and Z, or I should probably do my stretches because like, then if I'm sore tomorrow or I don't do my stretches,
Yeah.
I could get an injury and I want to enjoy my time. And I use kind of like my own personal experience when I was playing in volleyball. I was a horrible stretcher. And now I'm like, I pay for it now. Like I wish I had, you know, really taken that stuff seriously. Like I walk around, I feel sometimes like I'm in an 80-year-old's body because I'm like creaking and like I'm drinking turmeric milk. It's like nobody's business.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh my God, once I turn 50, I think someone's just going to have to take me out back and either like
Yeah.
put me out of pasture or replace all of my joints, my knees, my hips. Like I'm going to need a whole body replacement because like kids don't understand that. Like those kids who have those big dreams, they got to still work for those big dreams. And like it takes stretching and like diet and sleep. And it's like,
Yeah. It takes
you
more than
know, these
just being on the
coaches
ice.
here are like, they're pushing that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
those skills is like, you can't get those skills if you're not doing it, right? So, and they're teaching it like, you know, whole body, whole mind, and just all of those pieces. And hockey's really changed since we were kids.
Yeah.
But now, like, you know, it's really taking into how is it building the whole person.
Yeah.
So I think it's been, and here now it's like he's seen a different way of how they're doing it in different country. Like
That's so cool.
he can now compare and see what really fits for him.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing your story.
Yeah.
I love
No,
that
thank you.
you're
Oh
able
my
to
gosh. Thank you so much. Yes.
That's so great. I'm going to link how to
Yes,
find you on
please.
social
And
media.
okay, sounds good. Thanks, Amanda, and have a great day. And good luck at the game with your son this weekend.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thanks for joining us this week on Pucked Up Hockey Moms. We seriously appreciate you listening, laughing, and surviving the hockey mom life right alongside us.
Whether you're in the stands, stuck in carpool, or hiding in the rink bathroom for 5 minutes apiece, we see you and we're right there with you.
This episode was proudly brought to you by AAA Hockey Recruiting, your go-to for player development, showcases, and getting noticed at the next level.
Whether you're aiming for junior, prep, or NCAA, they've got the tools, the know-how, and the hookup. Check them out at AAAHockeyRecruiting.com and tell them the Bad Mom Squad sent you.
Until next time, stay loud, stay proud, and stay a little bit pucked up.